cool people, welcome back to RonsTechHub, and today I'm going to be looking at the Link Station N1. This is a mini PC stroke NAS, and the reason I have this is so that I can find a way to consolidate all of these drives I have. Anything is better than what I'm doing now. At the moment, I have individual cables for each of these drives being plugged into my USB ports on my PC for me to copy things across. If I could bundle these all into a RAID array, so I'm going to unbox this, go over the specs, set this up, show you some of the features, show you how to install the drives, and let's just figure it out together. Let's go. This is by far the most simple box I've ever seen designed for any product. On the front, you simply have the company's name, the name of this device, and on the box, there's nothing else that's noteworthy. Nice and simple. All right, so let's start the unboxing. So the first thing we need to do is to flip this over. We have two tapes here, one at the bottom, one at the top. So I'm just going to pierce these, then flip it back over, pull the top off. Perfect, there we go. I've never heard of this company before, but so far I'm impressed. Nice, simple, clean looking box, a very strong box. This comes in a plastic, so I'm going to flip this over, take this out. We have the mini PC here, so I'm going to put this to one side first and see what comes in the box. The first thing we have in the box is this booklet or pamphlet. This is the activation code or the activation steps for using Unraid. Unraid, if you're not sure, is an operating system that's normally used for network attached storage devices, similar to Open Media Vault. I do really like this being in the box. It does tell you everything you need to do to activate the system. It also does recommend that you use the 30-day free trial first, just to see if you like the system or not, and then you can use the key to upgrade Unraid to the paid version. Next, we have the Link Station N1 user manual. I'm not going to read through everything, but while flipping through, I did find this page quite interesting. So these are quite decent specs. We have an audio port, HDMI port, USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A port, a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, DC for power, SATA or SATA 3.0, supports 2.5-inch drives, USB-C port, power button, and M.2 port. So that possibly means I could actually load the operating system on the M.2 port instead, because I know this has eMMC storage on the inside, which should be fast enough, but this is going to be much faster. At the bottom now, we have a screwdriver set, a 3-prong UK power plug, the actual adapter that plugs directly into the NAS, and that's it, nothing else. One of the main reasons I wanted to try this out is that even though I absolutely love my Raspberry Pi 5, my Raspberry Pi 4 as a NAS, the problem is I would have to use one of these cables to either break out from the Raspberry Pi to another device. For example, if I wanted to use this, I would plug this in, then I would get myself an external drive and plug that in. And if I wanted to use a drive enclosure, I would have to plug this into here as well and grab myself a drive that's in an enclosure. As much as I love the Raspberry Pi and I like doing janky projects like this, the problem is it's not very practical when you have like 6 to 10 drives. So having something that can hold the majority of my drives internally rather than having random cable string out like this, even though I could build an enclosure myself or a 3D print one, which is what I might do if I get my hand on the Radax Penta device. But for now, this makes a lot of sense. And because it has an Intel CPU, compatibility with apps and operating systems is going to be absolutely amazing. So just a quick spec rundown. This is the Link Station N1. This has an Intel Celeron N5105 processor. That processor also does have integrated graphics, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. It's soldered, so it's not upgradable. 128 gigabytes of eMMC storage. It doesn't say it's going to be noticeably slower than something like an SSD, but because it's on board, that's a really, really good feature. We have a total of 6 SSD bays, 4 M.2 drives, and we can add up to 2 2.5 SATA SSDs. That Ethernet port there is going to be a 2.5 gigabit port. It does also have Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, and as you can see at the back, we have 2 USB 3 ports, 1 HDMI port, a 3.5mm audio jack, and again, the operating system is going to be Unraid. It's pre-installed, so you can use a trial for a month, and then they give you a free license as well. So just having a quick look around the device. Again, on the top, we have this nice Link Plus logo here. Very clean. Fingerprint magnet, but I can live with that. This entire bottom section here looks like aluminum, so that should be really good for cooling. We have 2 rubber feet here. These 2 sections here, these are the drive bays. So I'm assuming, I'll open this in a few seconds, but this is going to be where you put your M.2 drives, because 2.5 SATA drive simply will not fit here. On the left hand side we have nothing, on the right hand side we have nothing, but at the front, this flap here, this silver flap here does actually open up. So if you push it, there's an arrow to the right just below the power button that tells you you can actually just pull this open. So if you put your fingernail just between the groove and pull it towards you, this opens up and you're greeted with a USB-C port, and we have two drive bays here. So I can pull these out. Let me see if I can do that quickly. Pull these out, and this is where we would stick our 2.5-inch drive bay. Put this back in. We also have one on the right. There we go. Even though I won't be able to fit every single drive I have in here, I can put the two biggest ones in here and have that as my NAS instead of using my Raspberry Pi with random cable stringing out. So just quickly at the bottom again, what we have, these two bays here, you can pull these off and put your M.2 drives in. So you can fit up to 4 M.2 NVMe drives in here. I don't have that many. I only have one in this very janky case of mine. So if I quickly show you how to open this, you simply use your fingernail again, holding it so the FCC logo is facing you. You're simply going to pull down on this section here and then lift at the same time. So I'll do that one more time. So pull down, lift, that comes up. And in here, you can find a section where you would fit your M.2 drives. So based on how this looks, this seems as if it will only fit 22 by 80 drives because of the length of this. So this thing here goes up and down, and you'd put your drive in here. So I'm going to show you how to fit the drive. I'm not going to leave mine. I'm just going to show how to do it and remove mine. This is a screwless design, which I really like. I'm holding the book here only because it keeps reflecting really badly. This is a screwless design. So what you have to do is on the right hand side, you simply line your drive up. So that's my slot down there. Line it up, wiggle it into place. But before you push this part down, you simply pull up first. So you see I use my thumb to pull up, and that just perfectly slots into the slot, and that holds it down. So completely screwless. There's no need for you to use screws for any of this, and you could fit up 2 drives on this side and 2 drives on the other side as well. Sorry, the book is only here because this is a very reflective surface, and if I don't leave it there, the light starts to bounce around really badly. And after you've put your SSD in, obviously I've removed mine, but you would simply put the bottom part in first, and again put the device down so the FCC part is facing you the correct way. Put the bottom part in first, then drop the top part in and simply push down, or you can pull down on the lever and it will just slot back into place, and that's it, done. The next thing I'm going to do is transfer both of these 500GB drives into the NAS. The plan is to get 2 bigger drives, as big as possible, to put in here, but for now this should be fine. This is going to give me 1 terabyte, which is not that much more than my Raspberry Pi NAS. The fact that this is x86 and it gives me a copy of Unraid is going to be very beneficial to me. Both drives out. So I'm going to put this on its back, pull this forward. I'm going to take this one out first. I'm going to put my drive in here. You have to be careful how you put your drives in. The smaller port, this one should be on this side. So my drive needs to go in with the smaller port, going in like so. So I'm going to flick this here, pull that out, make sure that this is lined up. I'm not sure if I'm doing this the right way, but I'll figure it out either way. I'm going to put this in here first. Simply squeeze it down in there. Push that down, push that up. And again, my smaller port is going to go on the right side for me. So I'm going to slide this in. Yep, that seemed like it's seated okay. I'm going to pull this one out next. So again, to pull this out, you simply lift the lever and then you can simply pull it out. The final step for me is to give it power and plug this into a monitor so I can then set up Unraid and just start using the device. I'm probably going to boot from the 128GB eMMC, or there's also, I'm not sure if I showed this before, there is a memory stick that's already installed in here. So I'm guessing that's where the Unraid operating system sits. All right, so I've got my power cable in, I've got my Ethernet cable in, and I've got my HDMI cable as well going to my monitor. I'm going to turn this on now and let's see what we get. So pressing the power button on the front here, I can hear the fan spinning up. Oh, there was a beep. Not sure what that means, but let's see what comes up. I have something on my screen. So these are the default boot options. I'm going to let it go into Unraid by default. Because I have my Ethernet cable plugged in, I should get myself an IP address. Then I'll be able to link to this from any PC. All right, perfect. So I can see my IP address. I'm going to try to connect to that now and let's see what we get. For some reason, the resolution I'm getting from this is only 720p. I changed the capture card and I updated my software just to make sure it wasn't a hardware issue or a software issue from my end. But it seems as if this device is only outputting 720p at the moment. I'm going to log into the operating system, do as many updates as I can and double check to see if this changes. But at the moment, it's only outputting 720p. Back on my desktop, I'm using Zorin OS. I'm going to input the IP address of the device. So mine was 192.168.0.100. Press enter there. I'm going to continue to site. So I logged in, started my trial, and now it says everything should be working fine. I'm going to click on dashboard in the top left hand corner, but just above that it says I'm running Unraid 6.12.10. So that seems a pretty outdated version because I'm sure I saw Unraid 7 pop up on one of my news feeds. I'm going to go to dashboard. I've never used Unraid before, but straight away, this is a lot more intimidating than Open Media Vault. I much prefer the interface of Open Media Vault, but I know that this has a lot more features than Open Media Vault does at the moment. From the dashboard, you're going to see on your right hand side, you have some icons. If you click on the Unraid icon with the 3 lines, so that's the hamburger menu, there's going to be an OS update here. So I'm going to click on the update. This was released on the 18th of December 2025. So for me, only 2 weeks ago. I'm going to view changelog to start update. I'm not going to read all of this. I don't know what's going on. I'm simply going to click on continue, confirm and start update, and let's wait for that to finish. All right, the update is fully finished. I'm going to click on done. At the top here, it says reboot required for update. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click reboot now to update, and then simply wait for that to finish. All right, so the system rebooted. Okay. Username, I think it was root. Password entered. Let's log back in. I think I'm going to stop it there. I showed how to set everything up, showed how to install or update the operating system. The next video, I'm probably going to show how to set everything up, add my drives to a pool, and being able to map my Windows drive or my phone to it so I can transfer stuff. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.